The Illusion of Separation, Participation, Not Exile, by Rue. Do you define yourself as a victim of the world or as the world? I was listening to Alan Watts, and something simple came to me while staring at a tree. The leaves that are still connected are alive. They are green. They are vibrant. They are nourished. The moment they detach, they begin to brown. They dry. They decay. Not because they are evil, not because they sinned, but because they are no longer connected to their source. Nature does not preach. It demonstrates. Watch long enough and it teaches without language. The river does not argue about flow. The sun does not debate illumination. The tree does not hold a conference about growth. It simply participates in what it is. And maybe that is where we lost something. The further the leaf gets from the tree, the further it gets from life. The further humans get from their source, from direct awareness, from breath, from earth, from presence, the more confused we become. And here is the tension. Man created words to explain reality, but the words slowly replaced reality. Language was meant to point. Now it claims authority. Words are tools, but we treat them like territory. They describe, but they cannot capture. They symbolize, but they are not the thing. Nature, source, God, energy, self. These are sounds, vibrations, labels. They are fingers pointing at the moon, yet we argue about the finger. The problem is not language itself. The problem is believing language is reality. We fight over definitions, while standing on earth we did not create. We argue about ownership, while breathing air we do not manufacture. We claim dominion over a planet that can erase us with a shift in temperature. How foolish to think we control the earth when we cannot control our own heartbeat. How arrogant to believe we are separate from the system that grows our bones from soil. The leaf that detaches believes itself independent until it withers. The human who believes they are separate from nature believes they are autonomous until they suffer the consequences of disconnection, anxiety, fragmentation, overthinking, symptoms of detachment. And this brings us back to the first question: victim of the world or the world? If you think you are a victim, you see the system as external. If you think you are the world, you risk ego inflation. But what if the answer is participation? You are not separate from the tree. You are an expression of the same process, the same elements, the same forces, the same cycle of growth and decay. The ancients described forces of nature, not because they were primitive, but because they observed patterns. They saw that life is not condemnation, it is connection. Separation is illusion. Disconnection is decay. The further we get from direct experience, when breath, from presence, from watching the tree instead of naming it, the further we drift into abstraction. And abstraction can become exile. Maybe the truth is simpler than doctrine. Stay connected, not to a word, not to a label, not to a debate, but to the source that animates you, the breath that moves without permission, the earth that holds you without asking your belief system. Because the leaf does not need theology to live. It needs connection. And perhaps, so do we. Ashe.